And again, you can type it into your calculator and find that intersection, and that gives you the first positive small one. We're going to solve tangent of alpha is equal to a negative radical 3. To undo tan, I'm going to do the arc tan on both sides. Those are inverses and undoes. So we have the arc tan, and so this would look like alpha equals arc tan of a negative radical 3. And what I told them yesterday was not in your note cards, but somewhere on your note-taking guide, you might want to write down those values for tangent and cotangent until you get them memorized, okay? So what angle is tangent to negative radical 3? Well, that would be 60 degrees, but because it's negative, tangent is negative in both the second and fourth quadrant. So 180 minus the 60 puts me at 120 degrees. And if we were in quadrant 4, it would be the 300. No. Yeah, 300.
So tan is only negative in quadrant
2 and 4.
2 and 4.
Tangent is sine divided by cosine. So anytime your sine, S-I-G-N, of your sine, S-I-N, and cosine are opposites. So in this quadrant, we have a negative positive, but over here we have a positive negative. So when you're dividing, unlike sines, second and fourth quadrant. All right, so let's look at finding all of the angles in degrees for this, and we're going to do this in the calculator. So if I'm in degrees, what does my mode need to be? Degrees. So I'm in my mode degrees. How do I undo the cosine? Arc cosine of both sides of my equation. So negative 0.158. So we're at 99.1. Okay. Now, we know that this being a negative, we know that cosine is negative in the second and third quadrants. This 99.1 is in which quadrant? It's in the second quadrant, right? So how do I find the one that's down here?
You put that in the calculator.
Subtract the 99.1 that you got from 360. And that puts you from 360 here back over into the other quadrant. Make sense? And you can do minus the answer or whatever. Now, we know that we have to be in the third quadrant. So if this degree measure is, say, 270.9, we're not in the third quadrant, you know you've messed up. So that kind of helps. All right, so our values, our solution, x such that x equals 99.1 plus 360 degrees, or x equals to 60.9 plus 360 degrees. Yeah, on those asymptotes, they get rough. All right, so let's look at 55. We're going to solve 3 sine beta plus 6 equals 5 sine beta plus 7. Now, over here, when you're looking at where beta is, this is going to tell you whether or not your answer should be degrees or radians. If beta is between 0 and 360 degrees, that tells you your final answer will be in degrees. Now we're just going to solve this like you already know how from Algebra 1. We have got to get the sine betas on the same side. So we're going to subtract the 3 sine beta from the 5 sine beta, and we're going to subtract the 7 from the 6. and we're trying to get beta on a side by itself. So we're going to divide by 2. And we need the arc sine of a negative 1/2. So what angle?
And where did you get the negative sign?
This was 7. So you undo a positive by subtracting. Okay, so our reference angle for sine is 30 degrees. But this is a negative value. So where is sine negative? In the 3rd and 4th quadrant. So if I take 300 degrees and I subtract 30, I'm at 360. Why am I subtracting it from 300? Then it's 330 degrees. Oh my goodness. All right. So then over here in the 3rd quadrant, how do I find that answer? Yeah, that's probably the easiest. Do the 180 plus 30 more, which puts you down here, and this angle's 30. So you have 210 degrees. So how do I want you to write final answer? X such that X equals 210 degrees plus 360 degrees K, where K is an integer, or X such that X equals 330 degrees plus 360 K. Yes, because that's a full circle.
We say we don't draw little bracket brace thingies, are we gonna get it wrong?
If the question says write it in set builder notation, this is how you write set builder notation. So you need to be in the habit of writing that. Question.
For 38, you just put 360 for the answer.
For 38, you're going to do the 99.1 plus the 360 degrees, or 260.9 plus 360. Oh, times K. Yes, yes. Thank you. Will, what was your question?
You had a 5, and then you got a 10, 3, and then a 2. How did that happen?
5 minus 3 equals 2.
Oh.
No.
We are going to solve this equation for M. You tell me how we're going to do that.
Divide, oh wait, never mind, I'm stupid.
You're solving for M. What do you do first when you're solving? Yeah, you should do your subtraction first. We're still solving for M.
And then divide negative 6 from both sides.
Yeah, this is multiplication, so you undo by division. So now you're going to do the arc sine of your t minus 2 over negative 6 equals your M. And I am not real picky with this being divided by a negative 6. When you get into more advanced classes, your professors may want you to divide that negative out and do the negative t plus 2 over a positive 6. So just keep that in mind.